Top 3 exercises to strengthen the front lever, the planche, and the iron cross. Question by Tal Sanin. Right off the bat, I'm thinking about strengthening the weakest part of the range, moving my body weight. Okay, you heard about a lot of different exercises, and maybe you should incorporate this accessory or dumbbell, and how does overhead pressing help planche. Those are all great non-direct exercises. Your top 3 exercises for any given skill will always be some form or variation of the skill itself. Learning how to position your body, recruit all of the core musculature as well, and this simply feels it's a different adaptation than doing bench presses, doing overhead presses. Okay? Often you will get mixed results doing form of weight training and bodyweight training. In that sense, going purely bodyweight training usually leads to less mistakes, less room for error. So top 3 exercises for the skills will always be skill-specific exercises and their variations. And I'm thinking about strengthening the weakest part of the range of motion, which will usually transfer over to the whole range of motion. Okay, unlike other partial ranges of motion, where often if you don't train the stretched position, usually the weakest, you will never have it. You have to specialize in the stretch position. Okay, the carryover is much better. So for example, for someone who doesn't go as deep, as low in their weighted dips, only trains half range at the top, you will have hard time and also higher increased risk of injury going into a very deep stretched weighted deep position. Same with the skills. So I'm thinking, for example, in the iron cross, about strengthening here, the arms parallel to the floor, the actual iron cross position the most. And you will do it by doing isometric holds. This will be my top exercise, isometric hold. But also iron cross pullouts, adding a pause at the horizontal arms parallel to the floor position. You add a pause, there's more time under tension in the actual position, and by pressing into support position, you have a lot of reversal strength. So boom, going into concentric motion. And the last one would be some sort of a dead stop, no momentum variation. You can do hops into iron cross. I love this exercise. So I'm just standing and then slight hop, leaving my feet off the ground. Then boom, trying to catch the iron cross. This teaches your body to recruit all of the motor units in one go. Also referred to as raw strength or starting strength, like a deadlift where weight is dead on the floor and boom, you have to just teach your body to go from 0 to 100. This is great for transitions, keeps, swings into exercises. So imagine a keep into a cross, you have to boom, catch the position and recruit as much as you can, instead of lowering yourself from support, where you get gradual exposure to the intensity. So those will be for the iron cross. For the front lever, again, it will be the isometric holds. You should feel that cramp in that lower upper back in the front lever. If you use a progression that is too advanced and you sag off, you will not feel the desired muscle groups, the right muscle activation. So isometric holds, and we have iron cross pulls going from front lever position into inverted hang, front lever position into inverted hang. This is a great one because going from front lever and then reversing the motion, you will have to really recruit a lot of force from that position, reversing yourself, whereas from the hang to the inverted hang, often a lot of people will use a ton of momentum from the bottom to sort of screw the horizontal position. So I love front lever pulls, and I love full range eccentrics. So going from inverted hang, using a more advanced progression, so harder than you can hold, and lowering yourself slowly, trying to get some time under tension with this more advanced progression than you can hold, even through this horizontal position, through the front lever position. Those are my top 3 for the front lever. For the planche, again, it will be the isometric planche holds, and you can also sort of use the pseudo planche holds in this regard. I think pseudo planche holds are underrated, really. I love ring turn out or pseudo planche push-ups. Those are quite the same. Ring turn out push-ups, you have to lean in order to perform them well. And then you press into the straight arm position, maintaining the protraction, strong upper back, strong scapular depression. That's a great exercise, and those are my top. So you can say like actual planche progressions, bodyweight progressions, or using bands. Then you have the pseudo holds, and then you have ring turn out or pseudo push-ups, which again are quite the same. It's just different implement. It's either the rings or the floor or parallel bars if it's pseudo planche push-ups. Those are my top 3 exercises for each skill. And the logic is you should train with specificity and then introduce some variations around it. Usually when people incorporate variations, they go extreme, where it doesn't really mimic the actual exercise anymore. And that's where variation really doesn't benefit the athlete. So when thinking about variations, we are talking about pauses, adding isometric holds. We are talking about a different range of motion, or maybe partials, or maybe additional range of motion. And also different rep ranges, which are not technically really variations, but that's some sort of a change in training that you can apply that will still be very true to the source, therefore likely to make significantly better carryover than risking it and going into accessory exercises where you can really hit and miss there. You are much better off, safer, programming perspective, training with the actual specific skills. So you heard about a lot of useful exercises, either body weight bent arm that can strengthen indirectly the skills, or even external load, barbells and dumbbell exercises such as overhead press that might have some carryover to the planche. And while it is true, you have to know whether this exercise will help you individually. So some people really don't lack more barbell overhead pressing strength in order to learn the planche. Some do in fact lack raw strength, but you might not. Therefore, it is not likely to really help you learn the planche. You might go into barbell overhead press, specialize in that, only to end up being at the same exact progress with your skill training, okay? So when you're going into non-direct training, you're always risking, there are more room for error. You're always risking progress, more so than if you just stick to the actual skill and keep the goal the goal. The goal is to keep the goal the goal, right? That's by Dan John. I like this phrase because usually in hindsight we say to ourselves, I wish I would have stuck to this exercise, you know, instead of changing so much. So even if there are a lot of non-direct bent arm or external load exercises that can help, you might add them to your routine, always after specific skill training. You can sometimes just train this specific skill and have no accessory exercises or supplementary exercises or isolation or however you want to call them. And that will still be productive training. You have your 2 main skills, 2 main movements, let's say the planche and the front lever, and you can only train them and it will still be a very good planche and front lever program. Whereas if you make the accessories or some sort of now I heard that overhead pressing is useful. Your primary goal, you are really risking your planche progress because it's non-direct. It might really be a useful exercise for you, but most cases, in addition, not instead of putting your body in the positions, learning how to recruit the body and coordination, how should the legs lift themselves, and how does the lower back and abs stabilize should I stabilize myself in the exercise, how all of the little small rotator cuff muscle have to stabilize. Weight feels different on the wrists when you are doing exercises. Now in a planche it is stretched, or in an iron cross you have to some sort of a false grip. And even if you have good non-direct exercises, you don't have those small skill components. They are non-existent in your indirect training, and it will be very hard for you to transfer them over to the actual skills. So top 3 exercises for planche, front lever, and iron cross. Thank you, Tal, for the question. You can leave your question in the Bodyweight Tribe membership plans. I will take the questions from the membership plans because we have too many. I would highly appreciate if you support me. Go watch coaching and the memberships and the training programs in the link in the description, the Bodyweight Tribe. Like, share, and subscribe only if you love the video. See you next time.